All right, let's jump right into the chart. And today SPY was up 0.11%, and we had a very flat day today. And you can see we did have a daily doji candle, and we are getting very close to the upper Bollinger Band as well as a resistance zone right around 520. So I do think it's possible we go a little bit higher, but then I think we're going to need some kind of pullback to reset some of these technicals while the bulls rest. And I do think there's a good chance we will fill this gap down here right around 512. And because we do have such a strong impulse off the lows, I do think the bulls are going to buy that dip at support, and I do think we will push higher to a new all-time high. So I do think all-time highs are coming, and I do think this is a buy the dip market, and you're going to want to look for that support right around SPY 512. And if 512 breaks, then we need to hold this support zone between 507 and 510. So I think the bulls will take a little bit of a rest here. They don't have to, but the odds do favor some kind of cool down before we go higher. So manage your risk at resistance at 520 if you're a bear, and if you're a bull, you want to manage your risk down here right around 512. You can stay bull above 512, so if you're already in long swing trades, there's no reason to worry about just a little bit of a pullback, and there's no guarantee we even will get this pullback, but I do think there's good enough odds here where you could play this to the downside using that resistance at 520. So watch 520. If we break above that, we continue to squeeze and we'll be outside the upper Bollinger Band, so that will put a lot of pressure on the bears. And I do think there are a lot of bears in this market still, which usually means we will do the opposite of what everybody expects. And everybody is getting very bearish, even though we clearly have a bull trend here, which you can tell by all of these moving averages. Price is above all the moving averages. We're creating separation, and this is clearly an impulse. Within a week, we've already pushed 3.5% higher, and you can see how vertical the nature of that price action is, and that's what defines it as a bullish impulse. So I don't see too many reasons to be bearish. If we get any dip, I think it's a buying opportunity before we go even higher. On the NASDAQ 100 triple Qs, we were up 0.02% today, so we had a very exciting day of going absolutely nowhere, and we're getting very close to this resistance up here right around 442. So just like SPY, I think we could push a bit higher, and then we're likely going to need a pullback down towards 436 to 434. And then from there, I do expect to break to the top of the range right around 448 and a brand new all-time high at 453. So I think the bulls are in full control. I do think they need a little bit of a rest here soon. The top of the Bollinger Band and the triple Qs is up here at 445, so we can continue to push a bit higher before we need any pullbacks. And again, this is a bullish impulse, and this is a breakaway gap down here, so there's no reason that gap has to fill. And if you look at these moving averages, they are aggressively crossing back over to support the bull trend. So I think the bulls are going to take back control. Any pullback is likely going to be a buying opportunity before we go higher. On the Dow Jones, we were up 0.07% today, so another extremely exciting day of going absolutely nowhere. But if you look at the Bollinger Band, we are at the top of this Bollinger Band. So again, it is likely we pull back a bit, test the breakout at 385, and then continue to push higher towards that gap fill just below 395. Stay bull above 385. If we break below it, we have a gap to fill right around 383. And again, I think all of these are buying opportunities before we go higher. On the Russell 2000 IWM ETF, we were up 0.22% today, and we are outside the upper Bollinger Band intraday, closed inside of it, hit the resistance right around the gap fill zone around 204. And again, there's a chance we pull back here, get a little bit of a test of the breakout between 199 and 200 before continuing even higher. And this is the same theme I see across all of the indices, that if we get a pullback, I do believe that's going to be a buying opportunity. So just be aware of that. If you're getting extremely bearish, I don't see the reason for it. We have higher lows and higher highs and bullish impulses. On the ARKK ETF, we were down 2.04% today, so once more we could be getting a rejection down towards this gap fill at 45 and then continue to push higher towards that resistance at 47.2. If we can't hold the gap fill of support at 45, then we go for the next leg lower at 44. On the VIX, we were down 1.93% today, and the VIX is getting very close to this support at 12.8, and that is exactly where we've continued to find support in the VIX all year long. So as the VIX continues to crush, that's where you're going to see the bears starting to get their hedges, or the bulls starting to buy their cheap insurance as puts are getting cheaper and cheaper as the VIX is crushing. And if you've been bearish in your trading puts, then you're just getting crushed by implied volatility going lower as the market goes flat. And that's why you need to be very careful being a bear in a bull market, especially if you're trying to trade with options. On Bitcoin, we're currently trading at 63,000, and there's still a very good probability this is a lower high rejection before we go to 52,000. So continue to say risk off below the resistance at 65,000 and the resistance at 67,000. And the only way I'm getting bullish on Bitcoin is if the bulls can prove it and break that resistance at 67,000 and get the bull breakout. On Nvidia stock, we were down 1.72% today, and no, we did not go as low as 823. That is a ghost print, and whether or not we're actually going that low or not is to be determined. There's a lot of beliefs around ghost print fingerprints and whether or not they mean the stock is going down to there. If it's just bad data, that's going to get erased when they fix it. But just be aware there is a ghost print at 823 and we do have a gap to fill at 862. So it's possible we do get a bit of a pullback. But at the end of the day, it's really just as simple as Nvidia's bull above 877 and there's no reason to overcomplicate it. Above 877, I think we're going to a brand new all-time high between 994 and 1032. If we break down below 877, then we're looking for the gap fill at 862. On Tesla stock, we were down 3.76% today, and I think this is just really playing out what I drew here is that we're going to get a higher low somewhere between 167 and 173 and then push higher towards 207. So I'm not going to change anything about what I've said. I think we could put a resistance trend line here, and if you want to wait to get bullish, wait until we break back above 183, and then I think we'll start running higher towards 207. On Apple stock, we were up 0.38% today, and we're still riding that upper Bollinger Band, and we're still holding above the 200 daily moving average at 181, but I think it's possible to go a bit lower between 177 and 179, and then I'll be looking for a push higher towards 190 to 195. So you can stay bullish above 181, but if we break below it, you're looking for the higher low somewhere between 177 and 179. So jumping back over the S&P 500, I think the bulls need a little bit of a cool down here soon, but overall the bullish structure is still intact and we're still in a bull market, and I do think this market is trying to make a new all-time high, and I do think it's going to come sometime very soon. So just continue to look for opportunities to buy the dip, and if you are shorting, have very good risk management at resistance, and if we break through resistance, you need to go bull. So watch the price action, let it do all of the talking, and I'm going to be continuing to do a lot of day trading still until I get more clarity on whether or not we get this bull breakout. So if you want to come trade with me and get access to all of my intraday updates and technical analysis as well as my trade ideas, that's going to be in the Stock Channel Discord server. You can find out how to join my Discord server by clicking on the link in the description of this video. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you're crushing this market, and as always, I will see you in the next episode.